Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors. We're back in the studio, and if my voice sounds a little bit hoarse or tired, it's because we're just getting back in from a full weekend at NAMM out in Anaheim. It was a really fun weekend, a lot of gear, a lot of people to catch up with and connect with. Just a ton of fun, but it's good to be back here in the studio, and we've got some fun releases coming up on the channel here. So if you are a fan of new gear, if you are a guitar player or a musician that loves to kind of craft sounds in the ambient or post-rock genre, please hit subscribe to follow along on the channel as we walk through some fun new videos and new gear as we get further into this new year. Today we're checking out a brand new pedal from the Junior Ranger series from Spruce Effects. It's the Yosemite. Spruce Effects are a tandem, a husband and wife combo that have been designing and building pedals for a number of years now out in the Bay Area in San Francisco. They've done a series called the Americana series that features some really beautiful pedals in a number of different sonic genres that kind of pay homage to some of the national parks and have paired them with some really cool artwork on the face of the pedals and some fun kind of swag and knickknacks in the presentation of the pedal. And so they followed that series up with a much more budget-friendly, affordable series of pedals that kind of reproduce the sounds and the tones of those pedals, but in a much more budget-friendly price point. Yosemite is a dirty reverb, which pairs an overdrive circuit going into a spring style reverb. And what they did with this pedal, because the original Yosemite reverb was an actual spring enclosed in the enclosure there, they had to kind of modify and adjust to reach a price point that would meet the sub 150 category for these Junior Ranger series pedals. And so they kind of took the challenge of recreating the sound and feel and texture in a digital spring style reverb pedal, and I think they did a really great job with it. I think that there's a lot of versatility to the way this circuit is created, and obviously you have that really affordable price point at $150, which allows you to kind of dip your toe in the Spruce ecosystem, or just pick up this pedal as one that kind of delivers some classic sounds, spring reverb texture and sound, along with an overdrive circuit. You get a lot of versatility and a lot of functionality in this specific pedal. So we're going to run down the controls, and then we're going to show you a bunch of sound samples of this Yosemite pedal from Spruce Effects. One of, I think, the only critiques and the drawback to having this really beautiful aesthetic on the face of the pedal is that there aren't any labels to the controls of these pedals. It was the same way with the Americana series, and I think that was basically a decision to kind of let the artwork come through in its purest form. But I do personally bristle a little bit at control sets like this that don't have labels, and so I have to kind of remember what's going on. But we're going to outline that for you here, and obviously there's a manual card that you can reference if you forget what's going on here. So with Yosemite, the top row of controls is your reverb controls. You have the intensity on the far left here, which sets your wet-dry mix. You have decay control, the top middle here, that sets the length of the decay of the reverb. And then you have a pre-echo control, which sets that length of the initial echo going into the reverb circuit. And then the bottom two knobs control the overdrive. The far left here will give you your gain control to set how dirty that overdrive circuit is. You can dial it back and get it clean so you're just hearing the reverb sounds. And then the next control here is a depth control, which sets the low end frequencies going into that overdrive circuit to kind of give you either a beefier, more low presence, or to be able to roll that back and have a little bit clearer of a sound. There are also two internal trim pots to allow you to kind of fine-tune some of the overdrive. You can fine-tune or actually rebias the overdrive transistors if you want a slightly different texture. You can also use a separate trim pot to adjust the master volume of that overdrive circuit to your taste. We're going to leave everything how it is out of the box here, but if you get this pedal in and you want to kind of tweak or refine either of those two settings in the overdrive circuit, know that those are under the hood if you want to mess with those. Other than that, Yosemite was a really fun kind of experiment to really lean into it as my primary reverb sound as well as my primary dirt sound. In the intro track, it was the only overdrive I was using. So in certain parts, I would use a setting that was sort of a tandem of a dirty overdrive setting on the bottom with a pretty present spring reverb sound on the top at different points for more clarity or for more kind of sparkly clean settings. I would dial the drive circuit totally out and just use the reverb. There's a lot of fun range to this pedal to do either of those things or to find somewhere in between. And you can obviously kind of max the dirt going into the reverb and set the reverb to deeper settings and get some crazy kind of runaway noise chaos, which is always fun too. So we're going to dive into some sounds to show you the range of this pedal and the different sounds and textures you can get with it. We're going to use the Fano GF6 that you saw in the intro sketch. The signal chain is going to include the 29 pedals Una as our front end buffer and tone shaper. We're going to have an HX1 available for some auxiliary modulation effects. We also have a Strymon Volante for echo, and we're going to round the signal chain out with Yosemite here as our overdrive and reverb sounds. We're going to run that into the Matchless 3015 behind me here and onto the UA aux box, and let's hear how it sounds in that setup.